We are all seeking something here. Some are seeking validation from their parents. I was that person for a long time. Some are seeking approval from their family, from their friends. Some are seeking material abundance. And if you're like me, you might be seeking peace, which is what I want to talk about today. Welcome to day 4 of Codes by Source. I'm Ishani, and inside this 90-day life series, I am sharing some of the messages or insights that I receive as I sit to meditate, contemplate, reflect on, or just download from my connection to Source. And today, what came through is peace. And anytime I try to meditate or actually meditate, what comes through is peace, this feeling of peace. And I want to transmit it to you and I want to talk about it a bit with you. I feel my mission in life is to spread love and compassion. And I do it through every action that I take in my life. And I try to do it through my work with my clients as well. And as I contemplate more about love and how we function as love, and I'm starting to read this book, A Lover's Discourse. Maybe I'll talk more about it later, but love is something that I keep thinking about because I really believe my purpose, my mission in life. Purpose is what I choose, mission is something that I receive. A difference, a subtle yet profound difference. Again, something that we can talk about some other day. But as I contemplate more and more about love, I feel love in its purest form is peace. And you might have felt it when you sit with somebody you love. You know, we talk about how in romantic love you get butterflies and you feel jittery and I feel like uh, that is not exactly. I mean, we can define love in all sorts of ways, but love ultimately, when you sit with your partner, your soul partner, what you feel ultimately is peace. Because because peace is how our ultimate state of being is. Peace is the ultimate form of surrender as well. Surrender into the moment when you sit with your soul partner and you are in that moment, really surrendered into that moment. All you feel is peace. And that's why I want to talk more about peace today. So we come here on this earth into this human experience to live, to seek, to become something, to move through roles and rewards and accomplishments and relationships and desires, achievements. But beyond all of that, there is something very simple and eternal waiting for all of us, which is peace. Ultimately, we are here to remember our home from where all of us have come on earth. We are here to remember that we are ultimately going to merge into love, and throughout our life we get either glimpse of or like extended phases of being in love and being in peace. So we are here to actually remember, rejoice, and celebrate what it feels like to be one with love, one with peace. Peace is actually not a feeling for me. Peace is a state of existence. Peace is the ultimate state of our existence. Peace is the state of our ultimate existence, if I can say that. It is a place where we are no longer trying to define who we are as in terms of name or gender or caste or class or whatever. We are not trying to fix who we are in this state. We are not trying to prove anything. We are not seeking any approval. We are not doing anything else. But it is a place where we have surrendered with our devotion into that moment. We have softened this trying to become something and we have surrendered into being, being one with all that is. So it is the place, it is the space where the self relaxes, and what remains is oneness. Oneness with God, source, universe, however you define it, and oneness with all that is. That is the ultimate state. That is where we are all going to return. And until that final merging, final dissolving, this life is a practice. This life becomes a practice of choosing peace in small human ways. And I feel like that's why life gives us through so many lessons, which is what we say, but maybe these are not just lessons, but opportunities for us to choose peace in how we speak, in how we respond, in how we walk through difficult conversations, through different phases in our life, through our work, our desires, and our disappointments. And because I really believe life is what we make it, and life is also about our choices, choosing our choices, not regretting them, not judging them, but choosing our choices constantly. That is also a form of self leadership. That is how we become those kind of people who are not blaming others for how our life is turning out to be, but actually taking full responsibility of how our life is unfolding, right? So, what we practice, if we practice this, what we practice becomes our nature, and what becomes our nature ultimately becomes our state of being. So, if I am choosing peace consciously through every step, through every action in my life, it is then becoming my nature to choose peace, and then it ultimately is becoming my state of being. So when we are doing that consciously, we're not creating just a better life, we're actually training our nervous system, our soul, our consciousness to recognize the frequency of home, which is where we are all going to return. The ultimate consciousness is not just, it's not effort. The ultimate thing that we are here to do is not fix or prove or become something. It is to realize that we are all that is, and we're going to merge into all that is. And we can do that by choosing peace one step at a time. So, surrendering into being, not becoming, but surrendering into being, surrendering into peace. And this is where also this material abundance also comes in, because I am not bothered about how much money that is going to come in. I'm going to prioritize peace over anything else. And it does not mean that I'm not going to enjoy the material gifts. It's because I'm on a spiritual journey. When I prioritize peace over anything else, I know that whatever material gifts that are going to come in, I'm going to be able to enjoy them even more because I'm not attached to those gifts. I am I am peaceful towards them. There is no sort of lack or even anything else attached to it. It just is, and I am glad for it to be there. Probably this is more nuanced conversation which we can have some other time, but every moment you're choosing peace, you are already stepping closer to home. So I hope this gives you something to contemplate on. If there are any questions that come up, if you are like me, you are very curious. And if there are any questions that come up, I'll be happy, more than happy to respond to those questions. I hope you're choosing peace every step of the way so that you can have the whole spiritual expansion, so that ultimately, when we merge into the one true consciousness, you realize that it's something that you already were aware of. And it also makes life easier when we are choosing peace over anything else. This reminds me actually of a client's story that a couple of months ago, or actually it was last month, I think. Last month, we were having this discussion about how when she used to speak up earlier, um, she used to judge herself for speaking up. So most of the times she would not speak up, and that made her believe that she is weak and she is not she's not strong, and she's a people pleaser because she's shutting up and she's not voicing her opinion and all of that. And I asked her just the simple question, what is your value, what is your value, and do you think your speaking up is going to make any change in that particular instance that we were discussing about? And she said that no, actually, you know what, I will still choose peace. And that choice, that what I spoke about, right? Choosing your choices, knowing that what is happening in my life is my choice, my I am choosing that, and I'm not going to regret it. I'm going to take full responsibility of it, and I can obviously change it if it is not something that is aligned to my values. So when we understand our values, for her one of the most important value in her life was peace, and she chose peace. And then when once we had that conversation, she realized that she's not weak when she's not speaking up, because it is her choice to not speak up. As I work with a lot of people pleasers, a lot of women who've been told they have to be good girls and good wives and good this and good that. So many times we don't speak up, and it's important to speak up, but so sometimes it's also important to not speak up, because because there is also power in not speaking up sometimes, right? So she, as her core value, which is peace, she decided to not speak up. And when she realized that it gives us more power to not speak up and to hold her silent, to be silent in some moments, because it's only going to frustrate her later on. And she is seeking peace, and when she started to do that and she got aware of her choice of being more peaceful than anything else, a lot of things change in her life. So, yeah, I want to leave you with this story, that if you are somebody, if you are here, and if you're somebody who thinks that if I am not speaking up, I am a people pleaser. If I'm not sharing my opinions all the time, I am weak, or things like that. It's not the entire story. You can choose peace over voicing out, or you can actually voice out, and that would make you feel more peaceful. So it depends on the situation that you are in. Speaking up, not speaking up, your choice. When you choose your choices consciously, intentionally, you create a magical life. You create a life that is yours, that you can take full responsibility of. And yeah, when we choose peace in every action, in every step, we are actually wiring our nervous system, our soul, our consciousness to know the frequency of our ultimate home, which is where we are all going to return. So this is what I had for you for day 4 of Quotes by Source. If you enjoyed this conversation, please feel free to share it with people who you think would also enjoy this conversation. And I will see you tomorrow for Code 5. This is Ishani signing off now. Take care.